joining us now. Florida Governor, well, the free state of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, I almost feel like clicking my heels and saying over and over again, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. I miss the home state of Florida, and but somebody's got to be here. And anyway, great to have you. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sean. I'll tell you, I can count very high the number of people that have fled Chicago over the last 5 years to move down to Florida, and I have not met one person that regrets that move, given how that city is run.
Yeah, but this is happening from all over the country. Last time you were on, you even mentioned a lot of people from Minnesota similarly have left that state. I didn't realize that Minnesota was one of the states that had the highest level of people exiting, many for our state of Florida, where you're our governor, and the numbers vary. I think they were the fourth largest behind California, New York, and maybe New Jersey, or maybe Illinois.
Yeah, and, you know, remember when we did on your show the Gavin Newsom debate, and that was kind of like the polar opposites. You have the free state of Florida, conservative principles versus left of the left, and all the problems in California, and people said that's like the perfect contrast. But I'll tell you, Sean, Walz is really Newsom on steroids. He very quietly enacted one of the most left-wing agendas in American history. I had a lot of people from Minnesota move down. They were very, very upset at his policies, both his draconian COVID policies. Sean, this is a guy whose main line in his stump speech now is that people should leave their neighbors alone and mind their own damn business. During COVID, he instituted lockdown measures and set up a snitch line so that neighbors could call the government and snitch on their neighbors. So he's a fabulist. He's a very left-wing politician. I think it was a horrible selection by Kamala Harris. But I think in some respects it's fitting for the campaign, because what I'm witnessing at that convention, what I've been seeing in the last month in the media, this is the biggest gaslighting attempt in the history of American politics. They are taking a vice president of the United States, who they are claiming is this fresh new voice that's going to solve all the nation's problems that she had such an important hand in creating in the first place. She cast the tie-breaking vote for Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus that fueled inflation. She was the border czar that saw record numbers of people coming in. So it is, I think, an IQ test for the public. Are you really going to buy this? Because it ain't credible.
Yeah, you know, the campaign, as soon as we get down to issues, is where I think their campaign begins to fall apart. I mean, this is all choreographed, Hollywood, smoke and mirrors. There's nothing real about it. You get some great entertainment. Love Stevie Wonder, that's fine. But that's not going to solve the country's problems. You get to the issue of their open borders policy. You get to, they want to decriminalize illegal immigration. They want free health care, housing, education. They want to defund, dismantle, no bail laws. They want to defund ICE. No fracking, no drilling. You add all of it together, I mean, and a foreign policy that, frankly, is chilling. Do you know that you mentioned earlier about Tim Walz and his background and how he handled COVID? I interviewed a grandmother of 17, soon to be 18. Do you know that he put this woman in jail? She owned a little coffee and wine bistro, and she decided to open her door. And people decided to patronize her place of business freely. They talk about a lot of freedom here. And they put this woman on trial, convicted her, and put her in jail. A grandmother of 17 grandchildren they put in jail for 60 days.
I'm not surprised at all, because I know that there were people that fled Minnesota precisely because of those types of policies. We also had a lot of families move from Minnesota to Florida because he locked down the schools for so long. And, you know, he was asked about that recently in some interview about, hey, there was learning loss. There's all the, don't you regret locking down the schools? We know that was a mistake. And he said, oh, these kids learned resiliency. So he is unrepentant about what he did that was so damaging. And he plays this shtick. The media goes along. But, man, this guy is a hardcore leftist.
He really is. When you listen to what you're hearing here and knowing what the real record is, that now the challenge is the media is not doing their job. This is the equivalent of Joe hiding in the basement in 2020. It seems that the challenge for the Trump campaign now is to bypass the media and make sure the American people, before they go to vote, early voting begins in 28 days, that they are fully aware of the radical positions of both Kamala and Tim Walz. How do they do that?
Well, part of it is by, speaking the truth in these swing states. I know there's a massive advertising campaign going on. I think that's important. But I also think, Sean, it's the positions on the issue combined with the fact that Kamala Harris is a vapid politician. Yeah. She's basically Vice President word salad. So I'm looking forward to that September 10th debate with Donald Trump and Kamala. Donald Trump can stand on the stage for 90 minutes. I don't think she can do it, Sean. I think that's a great opportunity for Donald Trump to show she is not fit to be president of the United States.
I'm going to have to leave it here. Governor, I look forward to being back with you in my home state of Florida, the free state of Florida. We appreciate you being with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.